So I want to address something. Um, there's going to be times that my videos are going to piss people off. They're going to offend people. I'm not setting out to do that. The fact is that there's a lot of uncomfortable truths that we have to look at. Revelations, the book of Revelations, I think anybody that knows the Bible knows it's about God revealing the truth. It's not God coming down here and he's going to show it to us. He uses his children to uncover it. And I think you're seeing Trump trying to keep people's spirits up, and people have all their opinions about things, but I think ultimately all the truth has to be uncovered first. Nothing goes forward without that. So this is sort of a follow-up because I had a commenter very upset with me because she felt that I was, or he felt, I don't know if it was he or she, felt that I was demeaning JFK. I'm not trying to demean him. I'm not. I'm trying to get to the truth of all things, which is why all those people want to get you stuck. So those people that get you stuck, they're going to say what you want to hear. They're going to give you that false comfort. Yeah, with me, I'm just going to say it like it is. I'm one of those people, it's like, let's just pull the Band-Aid off. Like, let's just get it over with. Now, I'm a psych nurse too, so I do know, like, there's boundary. I know when I shouldn't do that. But on social media, there's no way for me to judge that. There isn't. So I'm going to offend people. I'm going to get nasty comments. I do. I'm going to be called a Jezebel spirit. I'm going to be called an Antichrist. I mean, I've been called everything. But then I was called a bunch of stuff long before that because I've worked in psych for 12 years. So, not a lot. I mean, I don't usually get called a lot of names, but every so often somebody's psychotic's just going off on you. The words, but I want people to understand something. I'm not trying to demean JFK. I'm not trying to hurt anybody. And I think that's what happened. So this person that left these 2 comments, I really look at it like it's somebody that it wounded their heart, right? Because really the horrible thing to think here is, because she had mentioned, he or she mentioned that, I think it was a she, that she loves JFK and always will. Oh, I'm not telling you not, I'm not trying to take that away from you. But I think God said something about, I'll throw down every stone. So throw down all of them. Because they have to be. So all of them have to be uncovered. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But there's too many red flags. So the reason I put the song that I did, the Bohemian Rhapsody, to those pictures is to say that that Lem Billings, he was so obsessed with Kennedy that he had an obsession, in my opinion, to where it could cross that line, and those types that then they kill that person they love, because he was getting upset with people always coming in the White House, and he would glare at them because it was taking away from his time to spend with Kennedy. Even though they say that there's some sites that say that they were having a relationship. That part is not as important to me. Just, I've said this before, that's not our place to get involved in. It causes too much craziness in this world. That one is where you fall back on, each person wrestles with their own, struggling of salvation with Jesus Christ. So it's not about the relationship, but let's face it, when he talked in his speech that everybody loves about him saying, or RFK saying transparency, they're not a transparent family. They just say what they have to. And so this is heartbreaking to people. And I imagine this is heartbreaking to anybody that's never encountered a narcissist or a sociopath. So these people will come into your life for no other reason but to cause you pain. And it is the most crazy thing ever, because you just think, why would anybody do that? But there's people that do that. And a lot of your politicians would be this way too, where it's like you've been given this fairy tale illusion around the Kennedys and JFK especially, that and you've had it for so long, and you don't want to let it go because it's become a part of your identity, right? But your identity is ultimately with Christ. So you gotta, sometimes it means we have to let that go. It always has to go back to the fruits. It does. And Kennedy's fruits aren't there. His words were there. You look at his policies, the fruits weren't there. He was all with the Marxist stuff. He was. Like, that's the reason why the progressive left pushes the unions so much. Like labor unions, because that's what Karl Marx uses. Then they don't have to go into neighborhoods and organize. They have a whole sex of professions they can use, mobilize them. Or you get your, that whole medical group, that alternative one that's doing all the videos about the jab, and they organize people that way and keep you stuck there. All of them doing the same thing. So the difference with me is I'm not going to say things just because I want to keep a follower. Or I don't care about followers. I don't. I'm just saying what I think. And could I be wrong about some of it? Sure, but I lay out the rationale for it. I try really clearly to lay out why. Kennedy's fruits were not there. He was implementing constant regulation. And the moment you institute more and more regulation that science can put on us, that education can put on us, that labor unions can put on us, it was everything like the Obama playbook, which the Obama playbook goes back to Alinsky. I heard today, I've been listening to this Karl Marx, and he really was like an Aleister Crowley, who people know who Aleister Crowley is. He worships Satan. And so Marx got there. He went mad. And so he used the gay movement, because it was a minority movement, to start to push transgenderism. He did. Yep, he did. Because then it's a minority movement, and he knows a bunch of liberals with bleeding hearts will get on board with that movement. So they know the tactics. And so Kennedy did this. They all do it. It's the reason why Trump was hated too, because Trump was speaking the truth, and people don't like to hear it. It's uncomfortable because your world gets shaken then. Everything you believe gets shaken, and people would rather stay in the comfortable lie. They would. But God is like, no, you can't do it. You're not. It's not going to happen this time. I've let you stay in the comfortable lie ever since, your people before you crucified me. Speaking of a scripture verse, John 14:17, even the Spirit of truth, whom the world cannot receive. The world cannot receive the Spirit of truth. Isn't that obvious? People are getting offended because somebody that they believe in so much, it's somehow, that's what that means. Even the Spirit of truth, whom the world cannot receive, because it neither sees him nor knows him, but you know him, and he resides in you, and he will be with you. I believe that what we have to do is uncover the truth of all things. So that's what I've been trying to do. I'm not one that's going to sit back and just believe the news anymore. I'm not just going to do this stuff. So I am not trying to demean JFK. I am trying to point out that this man, Lem Billings, he went on to be, RFK Jr. was handed over to him, because after RFK Sr. was assassinated, Ethel Kennedy couldn't handle him because he had behavioral issues, sent him off to boarding school, never really saw him again for years, and then asked Lem Billings to take over. So, yeah, Lem Billings, he was obsessed. He had this obsessive type love for Kennedy. So there's just something not right there. So who's to say that he didn't kill JFK? He was able to go in and out of that White House easier than any Secret Service. He was. People said it. He didn't need credentials or anything. So I'm just trying to help people see the truth. I'm not trying to offend anybody, but when people are speaking the truth, then people will end up being offended.